All right, so I'm going to walk you through basically what I'm seeing in this clip that you sent for your analysis. And down here, as you can see, I've just got some basic notes. So this is what we're going to cover in terms of what I see between or in your swing, and then also down here some drills that you can get out of our exercise list to help address these issues in your swing. So number one, as you can see, I have made a note of the sit and the hip versus quad. So here's what I mean by that. When you go ahead and sit into your, let's call it the lower half load here, this is a very quad dominant move where you're not really activating that left hip, right? You're just kind of sitting. Then later we'll see that there's a little bit of a fall forward in this move, right? So we're not really activating that hip musculature that's going to allow us to control that move forward. So Yelich is a guy with a very similar kind of pattern in his lower body load, right? But he is able to notice this action here. You can see that he's decreasing the angle between his quad here, his torso, so that he's creating tension in that hip, right? He's sitting down into it, and then he's also coiling a little bit into that rear hip. So coiling, you can just think of pulling that rear leg back and around behind you, and almost pulling that rear pocket and showing it towards the pitcher, right? That's the coiled move. But you can see his sit into his hip versus over here, we have more of a almost like a squat, right? We don't really see this angle closing between the torso and the leg, and then we don't see this hip getting wrapped around back behind. So that's number one, and that's going to allow you to control your forward move a little bit better by sitting into that hip, like we see with Yelich here. Right, so that's number one. The drill that I would have you do to work on that would be the banded frontside crunch. And again, you're going to find this in our exercise list. But basically, what that's going to help to do is we're going to put a band around this front side, and that's going to help you feel how to more load or better load your lower half during the load of your swing. And you'll see that more. You'll understand that more when you actually look at the video and look at that drill. But let me know if you have any questions on that. So that's number one. Number two, the forward move I have here in the notes, hand to leg relationship. So basically this is what we're looking at the hands at the barrel here, or not at the barrel, at the handle, as the lower half moves out. So in your clip over here, we see that the hands pretty much stay in the same place kind of as the body moves out, and then they get launched from there. Right? It's not a bad position. This is by no means a bad move, but there's definitely things that we can do better here to help you get a little bit more out of your body. So again, that there. When we look at Yelich, what we're going to see is that as he moves forward, he's creating more of a stretch across his torso, right? And this is a pretty easy one to see here. As he moves forward, then go up pulling that rubber band back, right? And this is something that every hitting coach says, or a lot of hitting coaches say, but it's very true where we just see Yelich getting more stretch across his torso as he moves forward, whereas over here, everything kind of leaks forward all at once. So by creating that tension across your midsection here, you're going to be able to, again, create a little more pop and rotate a little bit faster. So the drill to work on that is the opposite torso turn. And again, that is in our exercise list. So basically with that, we're going to work on the lower half moving out as the upper body turns back against it to create more of that quicker rotation once we actually launch our swing. Let's go ahead and give that drill a look, and I encourage you to blend that with your normal swings and your hitting. And then the last one here I have is front leg stability. So this one's a little bit harder to see, but when you land and kind of through contact, we see this knee get a little bit unstable, right? So it's there, braces quickly, and then kind of like shoots forward a little bit there, and then re-braces back. All right, so that tells me that there might be some foot issues that are going on that side. And again, because of your load, right? If we go back to that first point, because of your load, I also think that there's probably some better things that we could do in your rear foot here. But in order to do that, you need to be able to control that foot better, right? Because the better relationship our foot has with the ground, the better we're going to be able to control this hip. So not only are these foot exercises going to help with your rear leg, but they're also going to help on your brace leg so that you can brace and be just a little bit more stable here on this front leg. We can see Yelich over here gets the contact, and he's very stable throughout that whole time, right? So go ahead and watch the 3 exercises for foot strength. That's in the DAC AEC, so it's in that same document. That's going to give you some exercises that you can do to start working on your foot. And when you're able to control your foot better, that means you're going to have a better relationship with the ground, and you're going to be able to clean up that back hip as well as that front leg. So give those a look. So again, the 3 things: your sit, hip versus quad, your forward move. We want to be able to create more stretch, and then that front leg stability, and even to work on that, those foot exercises that I mentioned. Give those a look, and I think that's going to help your load as well.